Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to The Window, the sports betting podcast. It just tries to put a little extra money in your pocket. And yes, we have Thursday night football. Not really good football, but it's Thursday night football. Tonight we got Louisville, the Louisville Kings at the Houston Gamblers, which is funny enough because gambling is not allowed in Texas, but they're the Gamblers. Two teams with the same record tier. Actually, Houston actually has a win. Louisville's 0-3. It's not about who's better on paper. It's about who can function on a short week. I don't really understand how this league still has a short week. And there's only 8 teams, and you're only 2 weeks into the season. So great organization. But we're going to get into this because we can make some money on this game tonight, and we are going to make some money on this game tonight. But first, just a quick little motivational reminder that, look, no, you don't know who's playing in these games tonight. Full of players you've never heard of, fighting for opportunities we know nothing about. And that's the reminder that trying counts. Showing up counts. And as long as you show up, even on the bad days and nothing's going your way, you're still allowed to keep going. And you're allowed to believe in something better. But there's something more. So whether you're betting your own games and you had a terrible day, like I did on Monday, or you had a rough day at work, or whatever, just show up and keep trying. All right? That's my motivational spiel for the day, and that's over. And that is brought to you by, as usual, weed, making everyone happy and smiley since the beginning of time. Let's get into this thing. The Louisville Kings, they are 0-3. I've got notes here because, again, we don't know who these guys are, a lot of them. But they are Louisville is a pass-first offense. First down, second down, third down, it doesn't matter. They're going to pass. They average 271 passing yards a game. They've got 813 total on the season. They average 316 total yards a game, 16 points a game. Problem for them, only 135 of those yards are rushing. They do not run the ball well at all. It is bad, bad, bad. Defensively, they're middle of the road, middle tier. They allow about 21 points a game. 310 yards per game. Not elite, but not a problem. With them being 0-3, 2 of those losses, I think, were by 4 points. And then they lost last week in overtime, 29-27. Just a tough loss. But the quarterback was slinging the ball all over the field, and it was pretty cool to see. If you get a second, man, check a quarter of a game out. You know, you don't have to watch the whole game, but check a little bit of the game out. Like, it's not NFL level football, but you know what? It's springtime and it's football. It's worth watching, so give it a shot. Houston's numbers are the exact opposite of Louisville. They're really, really bad. They average 15 points a game, but they allow 33 points a game. 319 yards a game they can put up, but they allow 357 yards a game. And in the 3 games this season, one passing touchdown. So they struggle to score. They struggle to stop anyone. And then you've got injuries. Hunter Deckers, starting QB, out. Kirk Merritt, running back, out. Wide receiver 1, Jalen Moreno Crop, out. Defensive end, Lonnie Phelps, out. Nose tackle, Jared Clark, it says questionable. Pretty sure he's out too. That's a structural collapse, both sides of the ball. They are not doing well right now. The issue is they're at home, so it gives a little bit of trepidation with betting this game, but I think I found the angle. And we can get into the matchup geometry of it. Louisville, like I said, they average 271 passing yards a game. Houston gives up 258. That's the cleanest edge in the game. Louisville's pass volume they're gonna attack Houston's weakest unit. Houston's probably gonna get lit up tonight. And by lit up, I don't mean, 30-10 or anything like that, but this could get out of hand really quickly. Depending on the mindset of the Houston Gamblers. Like I said, they only score 15.3 points a game. They've only thrown for 1 touchdown this season. And they're only scoring 15. Louisville's only giving up 21 points a game. It's not a profile for a shootout at all. This is going to be a game between the 20s, if that makes sense. They're going to go beginning of the red zone. Louisville has issues putting the ball into the end zone, but they are stable. Houston is the exact opposite. They are unstable, they are injured, and they are limited. Short weeks. Just think about Thursday Night Football in the NFL on a short week with quarterback questions. You're not going to bet with that team for the most part. Usually, if you got a backup quarterback that just played a few days ago, you're not gonna play with them, and that's a huge gap. That's a huge problem. Louisville is coached by Chris Redmond. He won a Super Bowl with I don't remember who, but they are a pass-heavy offense, spread concepts. Their defense is aggressive up front. They have the league leader in sacks at 3.5. Kevin Sumlin, on the other hand, he coaches Houston. He was at Texas A&M, if you remember, at Arizona, and a couple other places. And USFL, he's been all around. He's not necessarily a great coach, but he's a coach that wants an identity in his play calling and in his teams. And well, he doesn't have it with this Houston Gamblers team right now. Like I said, Houston is missing QB1, running back 1, or running back 2, wide receiver 2, defensive end 1, nose tackle 1. They're all gone. Louisville, on the other hand, clean sheet. Nobody's hurt. They're good. They're ready to go. On a short week, that's a problem. So how do we attack this game? I am putting 2 units on Louisville on the money line, and it's minus 170. It's a lot. I know. 17 to win 10. Or 34 to win 20, or 170 to win 100, depending on how you're betting. And you could bet Louisville minus 2.5 at minus 140 at a couple other books like Pinnacle and Bovada. But at minus 140 for the 2.5, which keeps you under the field goal, I'm going to pay $3 more, 30 cents more on the money line for them just to win the game, to get the variance out of the way, because weird shit happens, backdoor covers. It's worth $3 for the insurance, and that's why we're paying more. Money line, betting the team straight up, it removes the margin, so they don't have to win by a certain number. They just have to win. I don't care, by 1 point, doesn't matter. And margin risk is a number one source of lost bets in football betting. A team can dominate the game and be up by, Lord knows, let's say they're up, spread's 3.5. Let's say they're up 24 to 14. They're up 24 to 14. Houston starts driving. Louisville knows the game's in hand. Louisville starts playing prevent defense. Houston scores, last second touchdown. No impact to the game. And the game ends up 24 to 21. And you had Louisville minus 3.5. You lose the bet. Or they go for 2. You had Louisville minus 2.5, and it ends up 24-22. You lose the bet. This is why we're taking the money line at minus the 170. On a short week, that is short week on the road. We're taking a road team that's a favorite. It's a tough ask. Paying more money for the money line. In this instance, we don't do it often. Don't recommend it often, but in this instance, I think it's worth it. It's not, the juice is worth it, and it's insurance that they just have to win the game, and they're clearly the better team with less injuries. And 2 units because just the defensive gap, the injuries. Houston is a mess, and I'm betting the probabilities. It's not because I feel good about this. It's UFL. Nobody feels good about shit. Nobody knows who these guys are. But 2 units on this bet, I think it's worth it. It's a probability. We're playing the probabilities, and I think this is a good spot. Now, the second bet on this game, we're going to take the under 45.5. Yeah, no, unders. This is about offensive functionality. And Houston, again, 15.3 points per game. 1 passing touchdown all season. No QB1. No check down wide receiver. No backup running back. They give up 33 points a game. Louisville's score is 16 points a game. They're pass heavy, but again, they're not explosive. They go from 20 to 20, but they can't put it in the end zone. That is their problem. And they have 135 whopping rushing yards through 3 games of this entire season. This total at 45 requires both teams have to contribute to this for this to get up and over 45. I don't see Houston doing it with a backup quarterback who just had, if I'm not mistaken, some kind of surgery, and he's still playing. And the backup to the backup is Talia Tagovailoa. Yes, that guy. The Atlanta Falcons quarterback. It's his brother that played at Maryland. He's the backup. So he got a little playing time last week. Didn't look great. Didn't look terrible. mediocre at best. And again, I'm referencing the NFL again. Think about Thursday night football games. How many ugly ass football games do we see on Amazon Prime that went under on a short week? Quarterback's injured, everybody's injured. Think Jets Browns, horrible. If these teams aren't going to get to 40, in my opinion, but why only one unit? Honestly, one unit, because there's just you don't know what you're going to get. Houston, not even from Houston. I'm not worried about Houston, but Louisville could probably maybe blow the doors off and get it wide open, because last week Jason Bean, quarterback, used to play at Kansas. He threw for 300 and I forget what it was, 360 some odd yards in the loss last week. They lost in overtime, 29-27, but he could light them up, and I just think that it is not worth more than a unit on the under 45.5. 45.5 is a pretty high total, considering the first week of the season, I think the highest total on the board was 44. Everything else was 41, 42, 43 in that area right there. So both of these bets, the money line, the Louisville Kings on the money line at minus 170 and the under 45.5, are both good plays. They line up. The market agrees. It's not about who's elite. It's about who can function. Louisville's got a quarterback. They got a system. They got a clean roster. Houston's got injuries, instability, and they are on a short week. The bets are reflective of that reality. And we're going to take these to the window and make some money on some weird-ass football. One more play for you guys before I get out of here. Let me make sure and see what time it starts. I didn't give out any baseball plays earlier today. Well, the Guardians and Orioles are starting at 6 in about 10 minutes. We're taking their no runs first inning, and I think that's, well, let's just leave that out, because it doesn't matter. I'm not going to have this up in time for you to bet it, but get these tickets to the windows. Game starts in about 2 hours. Again, Louisville on the money line, 2 units, under 45.5, 1 unit. We are 5-2 on the season betting the UFL. So for those of you who bets on this random ass football, I do, and I make money on it. Why don't you come along and make some money with me? Like I always say at the end of every show, guys, if a bet makes you sweat, you are not doing it right. Keep it easy. This is supposed to be fun. We are not professionals. We are moderately sharp and about as edgy as a Frisbee. So until next time, guys, we'll see you let's get these tickets to the window. Easy for me to say. You guys have a great night. See you soon. Bye.